Okay, first live stream. Here goes. I like doing things in indigo. It's my favourite colour. And I like doing things small. You always tape off the edges. I actually really like the natural look. But at the same time, when you get a nice clean edge, it's very satisfying. So I live in the mountains, so a lot of the time you can see the mist rolling over the mountains. And I love painting the mist. I've been doing these for years, a long time. So I have my trusty Winsor & Newton paints. And I like it because I like the shapes that come out without trying. Like this. And then letting the paint flow. One thing that's always good is light always looks good next to dark. Just play with the shapes that you can see. And control your and your pigment to make the blooms that you need. So always have a light wash mixed up. Whenever I want really dark, I usually pick up the pure pigment. So they say the general rule of landscapes is the further away, the lighter it is. But sometimes I like to make the background dark anyway, because I like that intense colour. I like not being able to control it. That's the best part. Because then I never know how it's going to look. It's a lot of things really. And the intensity of the colour. So when it's small, you have to work quickly because it dries so quickly. So I'm using a natural hairbrush. I tend to use these a bit more often, and the reason for that is because they hold quite a lot of water. And I've never really tried synthetic brushes, so to say I have a preference, I guess that's fair to say. So if you know of any good synthetic hairs that you think I should try, by all means let me know. One of my favourite places is in the mountains when it's really misty and the clouds rolling over. And you're the only one there. Hiking is good for that. I do a lot of hiking. I've tried a lot of other indigo pigments from a lot of other brands, and I just don't like them as much. The reason for that is because as soon as I got this, so drawn to this colour. This is one of the few colours in the Winsor & Newton Professional Artist colours that I've been through about 3 tubes of this one colour, and yet other colours in that same palette that I originally bought about 10 years ago still have hardly got a dent in them. I guess that's how you know you like something. So you can see the water has made so many beautiful blooms for us. And that kind of granulation, I guess, those kind of patterns, you just can't do by yourself. You've got to let the water do it. Just dropping in some clear water to make some more blooms because they're quite beautiful, very natural and organic. And by just dropping in the different colours. Over the top, or the different intensity, I guess. It's only one colour. You can achieve some really pretty, really natural results. You'll see when the paper starts to dry out, you won't feather as much. You'll get a lot harder lines than at the beginning. You'll see this section up here. It's really, I guess, faded is a good word as it dried. If you want to remedy that, and just go over the bits that are still wet, and then just drop in more pigment, you can see it intensifies. Another thing I notice with this indigo pigment is it tends to dry a lot lighter than when you first lay it down, and that's because you often lay it down when it's wet, and as it dries, the evaporation of the water seems to spread the particles of the pigment out quite a lot. Which affects how intense the colour is afterwards. Just so nice and relaxing to do this right now. You can always tell the parts of the paper that are still wet, because they're often the parts that have a slight shine to it, and the paint's still spreading. So a lot of the paint has dried, or it's been laid down. And now I'm going to go in and just lift it off in sections. And to do that, and we'll use what we call an eradicator brush. Just trying to find it. You really don't need that many brushes to just get started. One or two. That's the eradicator brush. And this is actually synthetic bristles. So just by wetting that a little bit and then taking off the excess moisture, I can go in and lighten some parts of the painting. And what that does is just taking off the pigment that I've already placed there. Sometimes the lines can be quite harsh, but you can take them out. You can fix them up later. Your paper is key here. If it's the wrong paper, it won't work. It really needs to be 100% cotton paper and the right thickness. It needs to be 600 or 300 GSM in order for it to work properly. You can see the pigment has already dried over here. I really like that harsh line, but I want to soften it up further up here. See that line there? It means when I put that second layer over, the layer underneath had already dried enough for it to be a harsh line. But I want to make it a bit softer on the right hand side here. And I want to add a little bit more darkness along here. Like that. See how pretty that's bloomed over here. So just for something different, one of my other favourites is Windsor Green. I think it's Viridian. It has such a beautiful, what's the word? Northern Lights quality about it. Just drop some of that colour in there, just for a bit of difference. And just that hint of another colour kind of tricks the eye into it notices it, but it doesn't take away from the final picture. It's really nice to paint like this. I rarely have a plan when I paint, and I think that's a good thing. I don't know. It's a good thing for me. Sometimes it's nice just to paint for the sake of painting. I'm happy with that. I like how there's some hard lines, especially along here and here. I like that there's different layers of the hills. I love that cloud. And I love this bloom, how there's so much depth in there. It's still wet, as you can see. I just stuck my finger in it. Thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed it.